Well, I finished the second book in my Motorcycle Girl trilogy. This one's called Motorcycle Girl Descends into Hell. The first one was called Every Angel is Terrifying, and that one is available for purchase on Amazon. And this one has just been completed. We're just about to run it through InDesign to create the PDF for it. But I thought I'd do a quick, just for fun, a quick sneak preview of coming attractions. Now, the trilogy, there will be a third one too, called There Is No Place That Does Not See You. And what I've done here is to take Joseph Campbell's monomyth of separation, initiation, return. That middle phase there of initiation is the hero's descent into the underworld. And so what I've done is to combine that structure with Dante's Divine Comedy, except that Dante begins with the descent first, the descent through hell first, because he doesn't spend much time on the separation. That was mostly covered in his Vita Nuova, his exile from Florence. And so, and there's also 3 notebooks that the girl's the father is a genetic engineer living on an Air Force base in West Phoenix, and the first volume recounts her childhood there under his very tyrannical, patriarchal household, always yelling about and complaining about everything and everyone and so forth, that kind of temperament. So she's had a rough childhood, and it deals with the father creating the first human clone back in the 1970s, when such a thing actually did transpire, apparently. So this is the descent into hell part. And so as this one opens up, she is leaving the Air Force Base and then journeying down. It's about a half an hour drive on her motorcycle down to Phoenix. And so Phoenix here is essentially hell, which it actually pretty much is. So we'll do a quick flyby here, just so you can get a sense for what this second one is like, because it's quite a bit more crazy. The first one was batshit crazy. This is pterodactyl crazy, I would say. In this case, it's just insane. So here again, I've occasionally taken things from the girl's journals, and it is based on a real girl, and the journal is real too. But I take things out of her journals and do creative things with them, just give it a different feel. And then this is the descent. Now this finger that she holds up here is not just, she's flipping it off ostensibly at the Air Force Base that she grew up on, but it is also the American Southwestern literary tradition, flipping the finger at Europe. We can do it too, and we can do it just as well. So that's kind of what the semiotics are there. And then let's see, there's our motorcycle. And then we have the 7 gates at first. Here's Inanna. It's based on Inanna's descent into hell in that case, and it's 7 stages because it corresponds with the 7 heavenly spheres of the planets. And if you'll notice here, Inanna with her lion, her dress is 7 tiers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here's Venus, the star with the 8-year cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or it should be 8. Isn't it 8? I could have sworn it was 8. It's hard to see though, but they knew about the 8-year Venus cycle. And then this, I'm giving away a lot of secrets here, but it's okay. It'll be a lot of fun to sit down and think about it. This is the Agua River in the West Valley, and it's mostly dried up. And it corresponds to Acheron, the river Acheron that Dante, which is the first river that Dante crosses over in the Inferno. So what I've done is to use the stages of the circles of the damned that he has in the Inferno, and now she goes through those same stages. And her guide isn't Virgil, it's her father, her father's notebooks. And in a way it's appropriate because her father is dead by this point. He's a shade, in other words. So she's crossing through, and because Inanna, when she comes to each of these 7 thresholds, she has to take off an item of clothing. Her jewelry in one case, and eventually she's standing naked, and that's the 7 astral body, etheric body layers that are inside the physical body, so that she's becoming discarnate. So when she's naked and has to stand before her sister Ereshkigal's throne, and she's the mistress of the dead, It's the soul with none of its bodies, astral body, physical body, etheric body, and so forth. So here she leaves behind at each one of these crossings something from her rock collection as sort of reworking Inanna's descent into hell. And here I've made up a completely fictional ghost town. There is no such ghost town in the West Valley. It's all developed and industrial and so forth. But I thought it would be cool, since this is an underworld book, that we have this fake ghost town that she gets out by herself and there's no one else around. She goes inside and explores it, makes funny little comments about everything. Leaves, of course, since it's a fossil town, she leaves a fossil behind. Coyote, Moon, and Canyon, that's the next stage down here. And then here, Pale Rider. This is kind of funny because what I've done here is we have, there is a real black cat bar that's in Phoenix, but I didn't like the way it looked. But I do like the black cat. It sort of fits the theme, the hell theme. So what we did is that we digitally altered this, and this is a bar that's not even in the desert. It was in Oregon. So we went in and we put a desert background in it. There's even a little part that we didn't quite cover up. You can see right there, but I sort of like that there because it's like there's a chink in reality. There's a hole through which you can put your head out and look at the scaffolding of the astral plane surrounding us. So she goes in here, and a pretty funny scene actually, because it's like when Arnold Schwarzenegger goes into the bar at the beginning of Terminator 2. This is sort of a parody of it. Or any movie with Clint Eastwood playing. There's a poster of Clint Eastwood on the wall here, and she walks up to the bar very, very nervous, and it's filled with basically a biker gang that I based on the Hells Angels, but I changed them to the Coyotes. And then, so the coyote is, the dog is always, signifies the underworld, absolutely always. It's connected with the underworld. Think of Cerberus and Yama, the god of the dead in India. He has two hounds and so forth. So we've got a gang of coyotes here. And they have a funny conversation where it's sort of like she's deconstructing or even making fun of the tough guy stereotype of the Western person walking into a bar. Instead of a cowboy hat, she's got her bicycle rider helmet that she takes off and puts on the seat beside her. And then one of the guys flirts with her and insults her because she's riding a Honda, makes fun of her, but she holds her own. She's gone through a lot in the first book. She's pretty confident of herself here. She does very well. And then I won't tell you what happens in the restroom there with them. You'll have to find that out for yourself. Somebody has raided her backpack and stolen her fool's gold, and she says it's named that for a reason. So that's the next thing that she loses as she's descending here, the volcano. And then she has to return basalt. She had a basalt rock there. She returns that. And then finally with Sandman, a haboob. She arrives in Phoenix just in time for one of his massive haboobs. And I'll tell you this here, that this isn't even Phoenix. This is somewhere in the Middle East. But we do have haboobs that are about that severe out in Phoenix there. And then part two, so it goes through 7 mountains. And then some stylistic, taken lines from her journals here and done creative things with them. Every word of this is hers here. I haven't really changed anything. I've just stylistically gotten creative with it. And she in this particular chapter, she learns how to astral project and takes a tour around Phoenix, hovering above it, looking at all of its mountains. And we go through and discuss all the mountains and the mythological resonances of the mountains. And Phoenix has never been literarily represented in a work of serious literature. So this is a first. This is me, or us rather, it's a whole group. It's me and my brother, my dead girlfriend, and my guides on the other side and so forth, that are helping with this, putting Phoenix on the map literarily. Okay, and then here she's going, now she's astral projecting, hovering over the city. So that's a talent that she figures out, because in the third book, it will be based entirely in the astral plane, or she's perfected out-of-body astral traveling. And then all the crazy stuff she encounters in the astral plane. Part of it will be a reanimation of the Aztec civilization that takes place in the astral plane. I'm going to completely reanimate it. And here she is crossing the river Styx, which is this river, the Salt River, that is the boundary between Tempe and Phoenix, but it corresponds to the river Styx. And then, so she's traveling on her bike, and then she hangs out at this coffee shop, which is a real coffee shop that's no longer there, that I used to hang out in when I was a college kid. And we had all kinds of stimulating intellectual discussions here. A lot went on here. I met a couple of my girlfriends here and so forth. And indeed, so she does meet another boyfriend. And here's her father's notebook, because he has three of them. The first book was red, and the second book is black, and the third book will be white. So those are the three colors of both alchemy and of Sankhya Yoga. So there's a lot to chew on in here. It looks at first glance like it's just the girls collect notebooks, collecting random things, but that's not what it is at all. There's a lot going on here. Her version of the 7 rivers of Arizona, this is what they would look like in the astral plane, as far as she's concerned. And then there's some good stuff here. And then this corresponds to the Minotaur in Dante's Inferno that they encounter as they're going down. And it was a Kachina Minotaur. And then we go down and discuss the history of the whole river system and the damming up of the rivers in Phoenix, which was an epic project, just a huge thing. And there's some jokes in here, a couple of AI jokes that I've thrown in. So there's a lot going on here. I don't want to go through the whole thing, but it is complete. And it's the same length as the first book, which was 450 pages. This is just about that. And then down through here, through Phoenix and its mountains, and the discussions of them, and then those who favor violence, that's the next ring down in Dante, the violent ones. They're the next ring down, so that role will be played by Geronimo. He was a pretty vicious guy, that guy. So I tell his story here with some of her illustrations, my illustrations, but pretending that they're hers, and going through. So I'll leave it there, and contact me at johndavidebert at gmail.com, and for any questions or anything like that. And I keep in mind, I still do astrology readings, so for those of you who are interested, let me know at that email address. And I'm teaching classes at my mystery school now, which I'm going to rename the John David Ebert Mystery School. Part of that will involve these 3 books. So, all right, that's the preview for now.